Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk with yours truly, Stero Lion and Big Chief. Today we're going to get into the Trump ban on 75 countries, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. And let's get into it, man. Want to say thank you to all the supporters. Continue subscribing to the content, liking and sharing. You guys are the number one fans. Anyway, Chief, let's go. So, President Trump's administration paused immigration visas and applications for nationals from 75 countries in January 26, citing concerns that these individuals were from nations that he deemed a high risk and were likely to use public benefits and requiring a review to prevent them from becoming a public charge and straining U.S. resources, aligning with broader tightening of immigration standards. Now, this is just his overall, spiel and part of his agenda as far as, the whole immigration thing that they have going on right now. And the key reasons for the pause on the visa issue is the primary justification was to stop immigrants from using welfare in addition to government assistance in terms of public change. The U.S.
Yes.
Department of State, or the DOS, announced that to pause a review of policies ensuring immigrants from these nations were financially self sufficient, and the move was part of ongoing efforts to tighten entry standards and build on previous travel restrictions. The scope of the ban, the targeted immigrant visas for permanent residency, not visitor visas, and applied to citizens from countries across Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean, in addition to the Middle East and Eastern Europe. So there's a whole bunch of places that are going to have a difficult time trying to enter the U.S. or getting a visa. What
Yeah,
say you, Chief?
it's crazy because they say that the freeze itself, it targets in terms of the immigrant visa, permanent residency, not visitor visa though, right? That's for now it won't affect for visitors coming in for tourists and so forth. And also anyone that is here that is applying for citizenship or adjustment of status here within the United States. So if you're here already, um, and you want to adjust the status of a relative or a spouse or a parent or a child, you're able to still do that. But in terms of new application to for them to migrate here, so far it's a pause on it, and it's an indefinite pause. Maybe until maybe Trump leaves office, but who knows whether or not they will continue it. All right. So this action follows the November directive to United States diplomats to enforce stricter screening for potential immigrants likely to rely on government aid. Food stamps, in addition to like welfare, Medicaid. So in other words, they are a hindrance, and they will rely on American taxpayers' purse. You get me?
They
But
tightening the noose, man.
yeah, but it's crazy because whenever you are immigrating to the United States, individuals got to provide an affidavit of support, whoever is filing for you. And the affidavit of support itself will tell you, I believe it's like up to 8 years. They're responsible for you financially. So I don't understand why is Trump doing this if that policy was already on the book for a long time.
There is no rhyme or reason to a lot of things that he's doing at the present time. He's just doing them out of who knows, man. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason, and it will be interesting to know, what the catalyst is for this. I understand trying to tighten the noose and make things a bit more restrictive so that
Yeah,
individuals who aren't eligible to receive assistance and benefits aren't getting it, and those who are, rightfully so.
yeah,
But it's seems very, very hmm.
But Stero, some people say, oh, it's racism is at play. I don't think so because there's other European countries that are on the list, such as the country of Georgia, Albania, and countries like that. Those are European countries, white countries. Yeah, they're Eastern European countries, but yet still, it's quite a bit of African country, and also including Jamaica
Yeah,
is
the
on that list.
Caribbean countries are there also, Middle Eastern countries,
Yes,
Latin American countries, you know.
yes.
So,
Cuba,
Barbados,
Venezuela, and places like that.
Haiti, Senegal, Nepal, uh, Morocco, Guatemala, Ghana, Tunisia, Togo, Yemen, just to name a few, And the
Yeah,
list goes on because there's 75 countries. So it's like, wow, a lot
yeah.
of people are going to be having a problem trying to enter the U.S. They are really trying to make America great again
So make America great again for whom?
themselves, you know?
Yeah, yeah. America could be great. Yes, if it inclusive of a lot of other ethnic group. Look at the White House now. The majority of the people you see is white male, right?
Yeah,
And you look at other previous Democratic administration, it's a mixture of people, whether it's female, um, Latinos, blacks, Asians, the list goes on and on. White man, white woman. So it's a whole blend per se, you know. But they're saying that also diversity visa is on pause as well. Um, like the tourist visa, the B1 and the B2 is student visa. It's still active until maybe he changes his mind. You know?
who knows when that will, if ever,
Yeah.
you know?
You think that he's going to keep it until the end of his administration?
Most definitely. This isn't a policy that's just going to be fly by night or come and go. This is going
Yeah.
to be here for the duration. And
Yeah.
folks better prepare and, as my uncle says, lace up your Gideon boot and gird up your loins. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
times is getting very, very dread. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Individuals are going to have to either get down or lay down,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this particular uh, course of events plays out as far as it being enacted, and because that's a lot of countries to ban, bro.
Yeah. It's quite a lot, and also I see that on the news now. Um, some countries in Africa, like Guinea, I believe it's Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and a couple of other countries are saying that the United States is imposing visa restriction and ban. They're going to also ban Americans from coming in.
I mean, what's good for the gander?
Yeah, I guess it's like a tit for tat. Is happening, and I'm quite sure some of those European countries and other African and Asian countries probably going to do likewise. And
Most definitely.
American tourists travel a lot, but it's going to hurt them, especially if majority of the tourists come there is American. Now, if the tourist that comes to their country is maybe from like Europe and England and places like that, Japan, China, it won't affect them as much. But if majority of the tourists come from America, like for instance, you just use Jamaica for example. Jamaica can't do that because right now because majority of the tourists that comes to Jamaica is from America,
Right.
right? And from England and Canada. Canada and England won't affect them, but the United States tourists will definitely affect them, because what happens is that a lot of cruise ship comes port of call in Jamaica, and a lot of them come from the United States. A lot of tourists come down there, and it definitely affect the economy.
Well, ultimately, we're going to see how this thing plays out, and it'll be very, very interesting to see
Yeah.
because the amount of things that this individual has done in the 1 year that he's been in office, it just you just brace yourself for the next 3 years, man.
So this is crazy because like even individuals right now that is going through the process of filing for a relative, it allows the application and the interview to continue, but it stops the final step of stamping and releasing the immigrant visa to these family members from coming. So in other words, it pauses it and stop it, like just stop. And just imagine you pay all this money, for police record, for the application itself, for the visa, the medical is very expensive,
Hmm.
and then you're told, hey, your relative can't come here or your spouse can't come.
I mean, they're just going sitting in limbo.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know. I'm not advocating anyone to do this, but like I mentioned earlier, like the fiance visa is still active. The adjustment of status is still active. Will there be an influx of maybe people getting visa and coming here and get married here and adjusting their status as opposed to um, get married overseas and then trying to file for their relative, knowing that their spouse or their parent, knowing that they're not going to get through because of the actual stop hold right now.
This will, like I said, be very, very interesting as it unfolds.
Hmm.
And be sure to, keep it locked to Chief and Stero for further updates as they become available. We'll most
Yes.
definitely keep you guys abreast of the situation. And once again, want to say thank you for locking in. Keep on liking, sharing, and subscribing the content. You guys are the real stars and the real fans. We appreciate love you, the continued support, and we're going to continue to rock out for 2026 and beyond. You heard?
Yes, most definitely. And don't forget to tune into all our social platforms, Facebook, YouTube, in addition to Twitch and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to our social platform, socialmobie.com. It's a social platform similar to Facebook, but much better than Facebook without restrictions. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.